Anthony came into our fitness facility about 9 months ago after he was referred there by a chiropractor who said that you need to do some strength training. And when he came in, he was very nervous, he was very frail, and he said, I've just lost all this muscle and strength and I'm really not sure what to do about it. So what we did and we sat down and worked out his goals, and I put together a plan, a 3-point plan. I'm going to share with those exact steps with you today so you can kind of take some inspiration from this, get the help that you need and get yourself sorted. The first thing though, and that the first and foremost thing we had to do was design a strength-based training program for Anthony. He had been a runner, he'd done some light resistance banded stuff at home, but again, it wasn't enough and he'd lost a huge amount of muscle mass over the course of time. So we needed to get him in the gym, lifting some dumbbells, using his body weight a little bit more, and then we were going to be able to track some of those movements moving forward. So what I need to tell you is that your muscle mass does decline over the age of 30 by about 3% or about 1% per year actually, about 1% per year on average. However, after the age of 60, this accelerates. And not only do you lose muscle, you lose strength and power. And that's the most important thing. So think of strength and power is allowing you to get up off a chair without using your arms, okay? The power in your muscles to get standing back up. And what happens is the muscle strength or the strength loss that happens is about 3% annually after the age of 60. So the ages between 60 and 67, he'd lost about 24% of his muscle strength, okay, which is massive. And if you're not sure how to contextualize that, it would literally be the difference between carrying a bag of shopping with one arm and a bag of shopping with two arms and then having to take pauses to carry that up. It is extremely significant. So, I'd ask you, imagine feeling 24% weaker, okay? It is crazy how that must feel. So before I move on, let me know in the comments, do you feel a lot weaker than you used to be? Have you noticed some kind of decreased strength? I'd love to hear what you are actually struggling with down below. So when people run as well, and when you do lots of cardio, what happens is they break down muscle mass. So if you are just doing one form like cardio, amazing for your heart, your health, everything else, but it does knock down your muscle mass a little bit. So unless you're doing some resistance training to get the muscle back, ultimately what's going to happen is you're going to start burning through muscle. So that's really important to know. So what we did, we set a plan, and he was able to commit to 3 strength sessions per week. And these strength sessions were only about 30 to 45 minutes per week. That is all he needs. At the end of the day, if you don't do anything now and you start something, and obviously it's going to be much more beneficial than doing nothing. So you didn't need to be excessive at any point here whatsoever. What I'll say, if you are needing a strength-based workout, in the description there's 2 links, one for male, one for female. There's videos there you can click on and follow along, and it's very basic exercise program that you can follow if you're interested in that. So what we did was we focused on full body workouts. So a full body workout is, I believe, the best way to structure a training plan for anybody over 40 actually, because it means you can do just 3 times a week. You're going to hit every single muscle of the body, and at the end of the day, if you can hit, even if you get in the gym just once, you're still hitting all the muscles of the body. Whereas if you just do a leg day or an arm day, you might miss a whole bunch of other muscle groups, which is not what we want. We want to be able to train everything at least once so we can get the benefits over the course of time. So over the course of 9 months, okay, over the course of 9 months, Anthony did 68 workouts, which isn't a lot. It actually works out to be 2 times a week. So he didn't quite stick to his plan and 3 times a week. However, it doesn't matter. 2 times a week was plenty to get the results that he got, and I'll share that with you in a minute. And I'm going to share with you basically 3 exercises that basically not completely works the whole body, but the 3. So I'm going to show you the 3 exercises. I'm going to share with you 3 exercises that formed part of his plan. I'm going to show you the increases in strength that he made with those exercises, okay? So the first exercise we looked at was a lower body exercise called the hack squat. Now a hack squat will predominantly work the quads, but it will work the hamstrings and glutes as well. And there'll be a big, on the so. Hopefully you can see the illustration on the screen, and you can see that he started off. Now, what I want to show you with these weights on the screen, it's not how much he's lifting currently. It's his estimated 1 rep max. So when we do strength testing, we can use a formula which we work out in our sort of our system that we have here to work out the estimated 1 rep max without pushing somebody to try and lift once really, really heavy. So when he first started off, his estimated 1 rep max was 37 kilograms for his legs. It actually increased over a course of the 9 months to 50 kilograms. That's a 35.14% increase in muscle strength. That is absolutely massive, okay? What you don't realize is that your leg strength declines twice as fast as your upper body strength as you get older. So therefore, you're not able to walk upstairs. You might feel a little bit more sluggish. You may not be able to walk as fast. You may not be able to get up off the chair without using your arms. This is going to give him a lot more independence moving forward and really set him up to avoid falling over, tripping, and ultimately it's going to increase his stamina and improve all areas of his life. Now the next exercise we did was a lat pull down. A lat pull down is, hopefully I'll have a thing on the screen for you, works the biceps and the back. Now these are really big muscles in the back, the lats, and what happens is when you pull that weight down towards your body, you're obviously going to. The second exercise was a lat pull down, and it works the big muscles in the back and the biceps. It's a pulling exercise. It works on the muscles basically at the back of your body. And a lot of times people over the age of 40, 50 and 60 are very weak. We call this the posterior chain. And if we can increase the strength of the posterior chain every single day, and everyday activities become way easier. So you can see his estimated 1 rep max was 42 kilos. And then it went up to 52 kilos. That is a 23 or nearly 24% increase in strength, which is phenomenal again. And the last exercise we had the biggest increase in strength was his chest press. And the chest press works the chest muscles, the pecs, and the triceps. And you can see his estimated 1 rep max was 52 kilos, and it went up to 90. That is a 73% increase in strength. Now, when you're able to increase your strength in these particular movements, these are literally hitting most of the muscles of the body, shoulders to a degree, but you are going to be a much stronger individual, a lot more independent individual, and a lot less susceptible to, suffering from the downsides of sarcopenia or muscle loss. And you can see that in just 2 workouts per week over the course of 9 months, he's incredibly increased his strength of muscle. And honestly, when you see him in the gym now, he's so happy, he's jumping around, loads of energy, and he's more motivated than ever. And with these exercises, because they compound exercises, it means you use more muscles at the same time. So like a bicep curl, for argument's sake, we'll just use the biceps, but a rowing exercise or a lat pull down where we work the muscles on the back, you get more done, it's more effective, it's a lot better it's a lot better for building muscle in your body, and you get a better outcome. And you can also train less. Because can you imagine if he'd stuck to his plan and did 3 sessions per week? I'm pretty sure he'd be even stronger, okay? So that is just the importance of doing these exercises. Now, if you've got any questions around what Anthony did in the gym, just leave a comment down below and I'll jump in and answer there, okay? But like I said, you can follow a very similar program with those video links in the description box, and you can go through it. If you follow that for a little bit of time, providing it's not hurting you, not got any injuries, it'll work perfectly for you. So the next thing we're going to talk about is strategy number 2, and that was changing the diet. So Anthony was quite a slim man, okay? He'd lost a lot of muscle mass as well and a lot of weight, and he didn't have a massive appetite, but we needed to increase his calories. This is like the opposite of weight loss, whereas you decrease calories. And when we increase his calories, it gives him more of an opportunity to recover from his workouts. But the one thing I want to talk to you about is the protein. Protein is so important as you get older, because as you get older, as you age, your body becomes less efficient of metabolizing protein. Therefore, you've got to eat a little bit more just to get the basic benefits of building the muscle, your hair, your skin, because protein is the building blocks of your body essentially. Okay, so as you get older, you literally are more inefficient, so we need to eat a bit more just to offset that. So the other thing that we had to do, we had to really look at those lean proteins. We had to look at the carbs to give them energy to work out, and we had to do it incrementally. You can't just go from not eating anything to eating lots of high calories. But one of the main thing we focused on was protein, like I said. So how do we work that out? Well, we have a meal plan that we use at Growing Younger, but in a long story short, the equation I love to use is whatever centimeter of height that you are is the amount of grams that you need in protein. I am 174 centimeters. I need about 174 grams of protein. And there are lots of different formulas, lots of different ranges, but I find the centimeters and grams per centimeter is a really good start point for anyone. So the next question you might be asking is, how on earth do you track that? How do you know how much protein you use? Well, you can use a free app called MyFitnessPal. And what you can do is you can tap in the foods that you eat on a daily basis. It'll tell you the proteins and everything else, and then you can see the breakdown. And all you need to do is increase the protein intake. And you do that from lean sources, eggs, fish, lean meats, poultry. You can get it from vegetarian sources, but it can be a little bit harder. But you need to focus on those whole foods as well. Protein powders can be fantastic as well, although they should only supplement an already good diet. But anyway, in Anthony's circumstances, we increased his protein intake a little bit, which helped him fuel his workouts to build some muscle to replace some of that muscle that he lost, which is pretty cool. And the results were, you speak for themselves. You can see how much bigger he looks, and you can see the muscle in his arm at 68 years old. He's got more energy levels, and literally, he's a much better version of himself than when he first walked into our fitness studio. Now, my question to you is, do you get enough protein in your diet? Let me know in the comments. Are you eating enough protein? Do you know how to get protein? If you're not, ask a question and I'll jump back in and get back into you. Now, the third thing and the last thing I want to talk about is Anthony's accountability. You need accountability to stick to a plan, okay? As you say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But you can make it drink if you've got an accountability coach, okay? And the thing is, with when Anthony first came to us, he did say that he wasn't that motivated. He's only about a 6 or 7 out of 10 motivated. You could argue that's quite high motivation, but actually it's a 40% error there that he could literally not come to the gym. So we went down the personal training route, and we only did one personal training session every single week. He did another session on his own, and then we would check in every single week, make sure that the weight was right and the technique was right, and he wasn't having any pain. And we went through this as well. Another thing that we did to enhance the accountability side of things was we did some really quality goal setting. And one of the things I like to do when I'm goal setting with a client is understand the reason why. So for Anthony, he didn't like to be puny, he didn't like the feeling of being frail, and he'd seen a dramatic decrease in his strength. That was enough for him to start becoming more motivated. And when we wrote this down and he read these goals every single day, because it's important to remind yourself why you started, he then becomes more motivated. Again, you only did 2 sessions per week. You could have done 3. So, maybe he wasn't quite as motivated as we wanted to do, but it didn't matter in the end anyway. And then as trainers and PTs, we will track how much more weight he's lifting. We continue to challenge you. We become your accountability buddy. And that is how you get good results, okay? Now, the problem that you get with online programs, essentially, that maybe don't have that level of accountability, is that you start, then you stop, and you don't get the results, and then you kind of feel it's a whole big waste of time doing it in the first place. So with Anthony, again, you can see he had fantastic results. It really came down to those 3 things. There was nothing extra in there. There was no special supplements or anything. It was a quality training program that he was able to follow and that he could improve upon. It was sorting out his nutrition and adding extra protein in at the right amount of calories. And then the third thing was having some accountability around that, okay? And accountability, again, could be a friend or family member. It could be lots of different ways depending on how you work as an individual. But we chose the personal training route for him and it worked amazingly well. So just to recap, for Anthony to be successful, he did need 3 components. He needed exercise, he needed nutrition, he needed accountability. And you are going to need the same thing as well. So I do hope that you can take some inspiration from this video. You write down your goals. You find yourself maybe a trainer or whatever that is, or somebody that knows what they're doing, helps you with the plan. You can follow the plan I put down below as well. And then you try and work out your nutrition by either going to a professional or just using MyFitnessPal, which is free. Honest to God, like it'll change your life if you just stick with it for a little while. And that is really it. So what I'd love you to do, guys, is leave a like, leave me a comment, ask me a question in the comments. I keep asking that as well. I like to get some feedback from you guys. And if I've earned the right for you as well to subscribe to the channel so I can share more information with you, then I'd love you to subscribe to my channel too, and maybe share it to somebody that you know could help. Apart from that, have a fantastic day, team, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.